What is up, YouTube? Today we are driving a 2005 Mercedes-Benz C230 Kompressor. The compressor means it's a supercharged. This is a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder supercharged Mercedes. I'm gonna show you guys the engine. Small little 4-cylinder. I think it makes around 150 horsepower. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around there. It's a fun, peppy, economical little car. Let's get into the video.
Normal voltage.
Okay, so this is essentially like the Honda Civic of the Mercedes world. You got no air suspension to worry about. You got no soft closed doors to worry about. It's about as basic and simple as it gets. Although this one is optioned pretty nicely. We got a nice leather black interior. We got heated seats. We got a rear sunshade, which comes on a lot of S-classes and higher tier cars. You get that on the C-Class. This one is optioned with a sport package, AMG sport package, so it's got the nicer bumpers, nicer side skirts, and it's got different wheels, different brakes. But enough of me talking. Let's take this thing for a spin. We're gonna put it in drive standard. Standard starts off in first gear, comfort starts off in second, and yeah, let me show you guys how what it's like to drive one of these. We're not going to drive this thing too hard because it does need a transmission conductor replaced. The 13-pin plug is leaking oil into the transmission harness, and sometimes when you drive it very hard, the transmission goes into limp mode. And in this car, luckily, it doesn't stop us from driving. It throws you into neutral, slow down to about 25 miles an hour, and then it engages back into gear. So it doesn't leave you stranded, but it just kind of kills a little bit of the fun of the car. But this is a very fun, peppy little car. And the supercharger, we're gonna floor it once or twice, just so I can show you what the supercharger is like. It accelerates actually really quickly for a 4-cylinder. The check engine light is on because of that transmission issue we have. It still shifts nice and smooth despite us having that transmission problem. It's a relatively inexpensive fix. You get a lot of nice features. You get automatic trunk, you get automatic headlights, you get power windows, power sunroof, you get a great sounding stereo, power locks. You get all the modern comforts that you would need in a car, and you get it on a budget. These things you can pick up really, really cheap. A nicer one, you're gonna look to spend above 5, 6, 7 grand. A one that needs a little bit of work, you can pick up anywhere between 2, 3 grand. It just depends how patient you are to find the deals. But these cars are very inexpensive, and it's a phenomenal daily driver. Did the brakes on this. I did new pads, new rotors, so I know it's going to stop well. Just that transmission is one thing that I can hear that supercharger spooling as we go higher into the rev range. You can't go wrong with one of these. They do require a little bit of maintenance, but it's relatively cheap to keep this thing on the road. Parts are relatively cheap for this car. You get a whole lot here for your money. And this thing doesn't use a whole lot of gas since it's a 4-cylinder engine. Tires are a little bit old on this one, so they do make a little bit of a howling noise. This would make an excellent first car, or for somebody who's in high school that wants to get a taste of the Mercedes but still on a budget. This would be an excellent way to do that, especially if you get the sport package. Sport package not only looks great, but it offers you better brakes, a nicer body kit. And it actually handles relatively well. Could use probably new shocks. This thing's got 104,000 miles. So it's not totally clapped out, but it could use a little bit of maintenance. Also has got some kind of a vacuum leak, so sometimes the idle drops down a little bit lower than I'd like it to, but hey, it's you know, it's almost a 20-year-old car. You're not going to expect it to be perfect, but it runs and drives great. It doesn't overheat. You also got a Steptronic, you could change the gears manually yourself down here. You also have cruise control. You get automatic mirrors. Pretty much you get all the features you'd want in a modern car. You get them here for a very low price tag, and the parts being super cheap. I just did all 4 rotors, brakes, pads, all 4 corners for about 160 bucks. It's pretty hard to find that. It's pretty hard to do that on most Mercedes for that cheap, but the parts are really cheap for this car. Transmissions are pretty reliable in these, besides that conductor plate and plug like I was talking about. I believe this is the 722.6. They're a little slow in shifting, but they are pretty unkillable transmissions, as long as, you know, they're not low on fluid and you got that conductor plate and gasket replaced when it's supposed to be. These cars, as long as you keep up with the maintenance on time, they last a very long time. Now these engines I can't say too much about. This is the M271, and from what I read, I didn't really see too many good things. Some people said that timing chains are like bicycle chains and that they're made out of cheese. The breather hoses like to go bad. There's actually a recall. The breather hose sits underneath the airbox and then it continues down underneath the supercharger. Those like to crack and then they cause massive vacuum leaks, and then you get a lot of smoke out of the exhaust because of those. Dead end over there. This is also a dead end. Oh, we're gonna turn around, hop on the main road. Just wanted to do a quick little test drive on this thing, you guys. You guys seem to really like the older Mercedes. A lot of people still drive these kind of cars, so a lot of you guys wanna watch. I figured I'd make a video. While I still have this car. This is a residential street, so I obviously don't want to go too crazy here. Nice little corner. This thing actually handles pretty solid. If you can find one of these for a decent price, I would not hesitate. This is a very good car. Oh, I forgot to mention, this car actually has excellent cup holders. You can fit a nice bottle of spring water in here, and you have an additional one that opens up that allows you to fit, I don't know, an espresso, a cup of coffee. You got a nice two-way armrest. What else? I pretty much covered most of the features here. You got the headrests. You can drop them with the push of a button, so you can pull them up manually, drop them. This is your traction button, hazard button. Nice stereo. Speakers sound great. I'm used to S classes, but this actually, when you turn the bass up, the treble up, it sounds phenomenal. You got electronic measurement for the oil in the system in the cluster here. Here you go. Supercharger makes a very pleasant spooling noise. This car is very enjoyable to drive, very comfortable to drive. Doesn't hurt your back. The seats are actually pretty comfortable. You got actually electronic adjustments on the side of the seat. You got some manual / electronic. You can adjust the backrest automatically, and then you could lift it up with the push of a button. You also got lumbar support here with like a little plastic twist. You pretty much have everything you need inside of a daily driver that's gas efficient. It's relatively reliable, low cost to keep this thing running. And that's about that, guys. That about concludes this test drive. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below what kind of other Mercedes you guys would like to see. I'll see you guys in the next one. And if you guys want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button. It definitely helps out a lot. Have a good one, guys.